Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 244. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, we have a packed show for you this week with 3 reviews in the lineup. We'll be talking about the thriller The Girl with All the Gifts, Jordan Peele's directorial debut, Get Out, and then also we have Macon Blair's directorial debut with I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. Remember, you can join in on the conversation by sending us an email at podcast@filmpulse.net. You can send us a tweet at filmpulse.net. And if you like what you hear, consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber at our Patreon, patreon.com/filmpulse for just $1 a month. And that will help keep the show running. Let's talk about a couple news things. First up, the Independent Spirit Awards were last night. I don't know if you had a chance to look at the results of this.
How's this? I was Moonlight won a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So Moonlight actually broke the record for most wins. It won 6 awards last night.
Nice.
Including Best Director, Best Feature, Best Screenplay, Best Editing, Best Cinematography, and the Robert Altman Award. So, yeah, Moonlight pretty much cleaned up. Best First Feature went to The Witch. The Cassavetes Award went to Spa Night.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to check that one out.
Yeah, that one looked interesting.
I was always kind of on the fence with that one. I think that's on Netflix Instant.
It might be.
I'm going to have to check that one out.
Best Female Lead went to Isabelle Huppert for Elle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I hope she wins tonight at the Oscars, too, because I feel like she should. Best Male Lead went to Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea. Supporting Female went to Molly Shannon for Other People.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see that one. Cancer movies just typically aren't my thing.
Just can't do it.
Nah. Nothing against them. It's just too much. Too many emotions.
Gotcha.
Supporting Male went to Ben Foster for Hell or High Water.
Okay.
Best Documentary, O.J. Made in America. International Film, Tony Erdmann.
All right.
I suspect that'll probably win tonight as well for foreign language. And that's pretty much it. So congrats to all the winners. Again, not entirely sure how independent these awards are.
Well, that's why we have those new awards.
Yeah, I saw that.
The American Independent
Something like that.
Film Awards, something like that. We're just gonna keep trying it over and over. Because watch, they'll probably get taken over by within like a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think like the cutoff for that's like 1 million, so that'll like bump up.
Yeah,
it'll get to 10 million at some point, and then we'll come out with another independent awards.
Yep.
We'll just keep going.
Yep. So that's the Independent Spirit Awards. The Oscars are on tonight, but we are recording this before they air, so we do not know the results. My guess is that La La Land won a shitload, and a lot of people are happy, and a lot of people are not happy about that.
The main thing I care about is I want to see Bradford Young win. Wow. That would be fantastic. That would make me so happy.
I guess we'll find out.
Oh, man.
The only other thing I wanted to mention is the unfortunate passing of Bill Paxton.
Yeah, what the hell is that all about?
That was, news came out today that unfortunately, it looks like he went into surgery and there were complications, and unfortunately he passed away.
That's bullshit.
I know. It was funny. I was talking to my wife about, because she's like, we should watch Twister. And I was like, what? Like, out of all the Paxton movies, you would choose Twister? And then I looked up his filmography, and it made me realize, it like reiterated the fact that the dude was in so many amazing movies.
He's in so much.
I saw a tweet that said like he was one of the few actors that could straddle the line between being a successful character actor and a full-on Hollywood celebrity. And I agree with that. Like, there were so many movies that he was in, like he could play the kind of the character actor role.
He was good at playing everything, really.
I want to watch Weird Science.
Yeah. Frailty.
Man,
that was a good underrated movie right there.
Obviously, Aliens. Oh man, that is
Terminator. Ah, I forgot
True
about him.
Lies. How
Terminator.
about True Lies?
Navy SEALs. Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the simple plan.
Yeah, he was just a phenomenal actor. He'll definitely be missed. Rest in peace, Bill Paxton. Moving on. I think we should go ahead and get into our first movie. Uh, let's start with here's the order we're gonna go in.
All
And
right.
there's no real reason behind this, but
Let's map it
let's
out.
do The Girl with All the Gifts, followed by I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, and then finally we'll end it with Get Out.
Good plan.
Okay. So The Girl with All the Gifts. This is directed by Colin McCarthy. I have a synopsis here. A scientist and a teacher living in a dystopian future embark on a journey of survival with a special young girl named Melanie. This came out in theaters and on VOD this weekend. I guess, Kevin, we'll start it with you. What did you think of The Girl with All the Gifts?
Um, Number one, I didn't really know anything about this movie going in. I just knew it was like a zombie movie,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So I had this like built up in my head, this understanding of like, oh, okay, this is going to be like a real like small scale indie zombie movie,
That's what I expected, too.
like low key. So like right off the bat, I was just like, damn, this got high production levels.
Very high. Surprisingly so.
And then like Glenn Close shows up, and I'm just like, wait a second, what the hell's going on? This is like full on legit, like big budget.
Mm-hmm.
At least appears to be.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like a lot of I don't know what the budget situation of this is, but there's some like really big sets and a lot of different locales. I thought it was all going to take place within like one kind of lab facility, and no, they go out into the city, and it's full on.
Yeah, yeah, and I think for the most part, I was very impressed. First off, I thought it was a solid movie. Towards like the end, it kind of felt like they didn't know exactly where to take it, and it seems like everything kind of gets out of hand. But up until that point, everything's like really fleshed out. Everything essentially makes sense about like how they're explaining like the virus and stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the few zombie movies where, because not a lot of zombie movies actually explain what the virus is and how it spreads. I mean, you know how it spreads, obviously, through people experiencing that, but few of them actually get into the kind of science behind the virus. And this one was interesting because in this film, it's like a fungal infection.
Which is really crazy because I just watched the other night. It wasn't too long ago where they like that actual fungus virus that affects insects.
Mm-hmm.
It like gets in their brain and then it grows out. So it was like, oh shit, it almost makes you think like, why hasn't that been done before? Why hasn't someone tried to make that connection with a zombie film? Yeah, maybe they have. I don't know.
Well, this one does it pretty closely.
Yeah, I mean, it does a pretty fantastic job of it too, especially when you see when you finally, when they progress it.
Right.
And you get to see whatever, I forget what they called it, like phase 3 or whatever, phase 2 of the infection. It was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. Is it phase 2? Or because I thought she was phase 2, and then phase 3 was the result of the spores.
That's why I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it was pretty, like they kind of say like or hard sci-fi. It was like hard zombie. I put a lot of thought in this zombie stuff.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about it is if you go into it not really knowing what it's all about, the beginning part with all the children and the procedures and everything really kind of keeps you on your toes. You're like, what is this? What is this all about? What are they doing? Why are they going through all this? Why are they feeding them mealworms?
Yeah.
And just the procedures. And even though I knew going into it that it was a zombie movie, I still had so many questions for that beginning part because I didn't know what they were there for. I didn't know what they were doing with those kids.
Yeah.
So that I thought was interesting too. There's a lot of positives for me in this movie. I thought it looked great. I thought a lot of the, not just the production design, but just a lot of the like the costumes and just the look of this movie was really cool. I mean, the mask thing that she wears, it's like a simple thing, but it has so much style to it.
It's just yeah, it was nice to see them put so much thought into it.
Uh,
Which
I thought
it's
that
the thing that sort of bothered me when it got towards the end, like I said, where it kind of just felt like they didn't know what to do. They didn't know where to go with it. Just kind of ran out of steam, and then it just kind of got a bit ridiculous.
a little bit towards the end, yeah, I'll agree with that. I thought that the girl Melanie, played by Sinia Nanwa,
Yeah,
Naniwa, I thought
she was great.
she was fantastic. And I'm unusually hard on children actors, and
You're
I thought
completely unfair when it comes to child
I
actors.
thought that she was fantastic. I loved her unwavering positivity
Yeah,
in
that
this.
was the best.
I mean, everybody was just constantly treating her like utter shit, and she just was perfectly fine with it. She was just pleasant and optimistic and cheery
Yeah,
the
and she was
whole
just so
time.
curious, so curious. Just wanted to know everything.
Yeah, I thought that she was just adorable, and she really she's what really kind of made this movie unique and something kind of special for me. I thought all the other performances were fine too. Gemma Arterton's in it, and then like you mentioned, Glenn Close and Paddy Considine. He's great too. I like him in everything that he's in as well. But yeah, pretty strong performances all around. I love the look of the city once they finally get out of the lab, and
Oh
that
yeah,
was
like when
another surprising
oh my,
thing.
when they would do the shots of just all the stock still zombies, just kind of, and they were almost like blades of grass, just like blowing in the
Yeah,
wind, just swaying back and forth.
and that was the other kind of thing that I liked is that there are a few really interesting kind of set pieces in it. Most notably, the one where they have to get through this one area that's just littered with probably 1,000 of them, and they have to be very quiet and kind of sneak through them. That was a really interesting scene.
Yeah,
And it's like, we've seen a million zombie movies by this point, and I think it's difficult to bring something new to the table with the zombie movie. And maybe it's all been done before, but that doesn't mean that you can't deliver the same kind of story in an interesting and entertaining way. And I think that this does that. There's not a lot new here, but it's still an entertaining survival story.
yeah. But I do again like how they made that connection, like that the biological, like the actual fungus.
That
It's
was that,
found it really,
yeah.
and then how they kind of like evolved it with how it affected and went into different stages, and
Yeah.
it kind of reacted differently, or
The whole
maybe
yeah,
not reacted,
the
but
whole thing with like
acted.
the vines and the spores and everything, that was definitely something
Yeah, and how
really interesting.
they like with her, with Melanie, it was more like this symbiotic relationship that was going on. It wasn't just completely overtaking the human. Is there, it was kind of like a back and forth.
Right, because there were normal zombies, and they were the fast moving rage fueled 28 days later style zombies. And then Melanie, she's different. She's I don't know if I want to, I mean, you could probably put two and two together and figure out why she's not like the others, and why the
She's,
ones that are like that are children. But she and several other children like her they have like the zombie gene, but they still kind of retain their humanity where they can think for themselves and can sort of control it. And basically, she's the key to finding the cure, or so Glenn Close thinks. And she plays this kind of doctor who is leading up the research in developing a vaccine. So that's why they have to keep Melanie with her, because she's plays a very important role in discovering the cure.
I thought that one second when she steals like the pod
Mm-hmm.
and puts it, and I love how she's just like, I don't know how she does this, but she just immediately deduces
Mm-hmm.
that it's indestructible, and she just starts banging it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know that?
Well,
You didn't do any type of research. You just grabbed it off the vine, and you're like, look, you can't destroy it. And it's like, Jesus Christ, what are you doing,
Well,
lady?
I was getting some conflicting ideas about that, thoughts about that, because it seemed at first like they were just now, like they just found those pods for the first time. But then when she was explaining to Melanie how they're hard and you need to, you can't break them open, that they must have encountered those pods before, like other
Yeah, but
researchers.
yeah, but well, I guess that's true. But it seemed like that was the next stage that hasn't happened yet, and it just started happening.
I don't know. I mean, I think that
So
that probably took a while for that, especially that one super tall
yeah, that
tree
was ridiculous.
that was like the size of a skyscraper.
Yeah, that was something.
I also like the design of that, how the vines looked and how the pod things looked, because they were really gross and creepy looking.
They were
But they looked,
because at the bottom of it is a pile of zombies.
yeah. But
It's
but
just like, oh god,
it looked so organic and real. It didn't look too alien. It didn't look unbelievable. It looked like, okay, well, that's what would happen if vines grew out of your
well, yeah,
body.
because if you do see like if you go on the internet, YouTube or whatever, and watch those like the sped up version of that affecting the insects, like ants and stuff, it's so fucking creepy to
Yeah,
watch.
I've seen
It's
that.
oh, it just looks so alien.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I was actually really surprised with this one. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Same here. Same here. Like I said though, the end it kind of lost me a little bit at the end with the everything that kind of transpires there.
So you're referring to the end, like how it concludes,
No,
or
well, yeah, I
just
guess I should say the
more like
the
the
portion before
climax
that when
before?
they kind of when they discover more people.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a tribe, let's say. They discover that tribe. I was just like, oh, it seems really out of place to me.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it makes sense that there would be more,
But it was just kind of
but
the way that they were presented. It did because, like I said, everything's like completely housed in this like hard zombie, like backed up by biology, and then it almost feels like an '80s movie.
yeah, because what we're led to believe doesn't. I think that it conflicts with what is portrayed in the film. Like, I don't think that those people would exist. Like, I don't think that they would make it. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't make it to be that age, but maybe they would because of the infection. I don't know how the virus affects like aging and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
But
guess so because it does. They said something about it metabolizes the oxygen for him or
oh yeah,
something along those lines.
yeah, she doesn't have to breathe as much.
Yeah,
But you have to think if that was the case, if those people did survive long enough to get to that age, they probably would be in that state because they haven't had any kind of exposure to adult. I'm like giving away bits of it. I'm trying to not to. I don't know if that's even a spoiler, but they wouldn't have any exposure to education, let's say. So
yeah,
they would be kind of feral.
true.
I don't know if it would be that way, but
I don't know.
I
Just
didn't
to
mind
me,
it.
it
I didn't
just
mind it
it
too much. The like that scene, that kind of fight scene that takes place. Yeah, it was a little silly, but there was some serious ass kicking in it.
there was there was. Just seemed like the bat was overkill though.
Maybe a little bit, but you have to show your dominance over them.
True.
Like
Yeah.
she was dethroning the alpha and becoming the alpha.
Yeah. I'm sure people can piece together now.
I know it's
We've
terrible.
said we've said too much.
That's not a huge like plot spoiler, really. I mean, anyway. Uh,
The ending ended. I did not see that
I
coming.
didn't either.
The
I did
ending
not
ending.
expect that either. I at first I didn't really know how I felt about it, but then the more I kind of processed it, it it fit. Like it made sense.
Yeah.
And by the end I kind of accepted it. Like I had a lot of questions, like logistics on how that was going to work in the long term, but you know, other than that, I thought
Yeah.
it was
I don't think it's gonna last that
yeah, I
long.
can't.
There's no way.
All right, that's the girl with all the gifts. What are you going to give it out of 10?
I'll give it a 7.
I think I'm gonna go with a 7 as well on that one. It's a really solid movie. I feel like we get one good zombie movie a year. Like we're allowed to have one good one a year, and then the rest that happen to come out are pretty much garbage. Like last year we had Train to Busan. It's like okay,
Yeah, I think one like if we get one a year, I think that's pretty good.
yeah,
You got to be happy with that.
yeah. Let's move on to our next film. We're talking about I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. That's got to be taking the title for longest title of the year right there. It's a long ass title.
It's a bit much.
This is written and directed by Macon Blair. I have a synopsis here. When a depressed woman is burglarized, she finds a new sense of purpose by tracking down the thieves alongside her obnoxious neighbor. But they soon find themselves dangerously out of their depth against a pack of degenerate criminals. This stars Melanie Linsky and Elijah Wood.
It's a bunch of wood in there.
Tony.
Robert Longstreet.
Yeah, Robert Longstreet's in there too. Great cast. All right. I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore. This is playing on Netflix right now. This was a big winner at Sundance this year. Was the what did it get? It got the
something or other award.
it was the grand jury. It got the grand jury
watch,
prize. Yeah,
watch out.
that's the big one. So it was interesting because I mean I knew this was Macon Blair's debut. He works a lot with Jeremy Saulnier, the guy who did Green Room and Blue Ruin, and to me it felt like a very similar movie tonally. I mean, like these guys definitely are working off of each other at this point.
Yeah.
It's like okay, because it felt very very much like a Jeremy Saulnier film. It had the comedy because like his movies, like Blue Ruin and Green Room, they're not comedies by any means, but he puts in this kind of dry comedy into it that lightens the mood a little bit because both of those movies are very dark, very serious movies. This one was certainly lighter than Saulnier's two movies, but it's still pretty dark, I would say, especially as it progresses. Like the level of violence in this movie goes up pretty quickly, and that was one of the big surprises. And like Blue Ruin and Green Room, the level of violence was it wasn't like wall to wall, but when it happened, it was just so real and visceral that you're just like, oh my god, because it looks so authentic. But I may be getting a little ahead of myself. I liked the movie a whole lot.
I enjoyed it.
I thought I had a really good time. It made me laugh a lot. I liked Elijah Wood's character of Tony. I thought that he was definitely.
I wish there was actually more Tony.
Yeah, I thought that he was hilarious with his shurikens. That sweet rat tail.
Oh my god! I just love when he throws the first one.
That's how hard I threw it.
Oh god! And when he sidekicks that guy,
yeah,
and then he explains he has to describe what it is,
mm-hmm.
just in case you didn't know.
He
was just so jazzed up to finally get to put that to use.
I love the first scene because she meets him. So basically, like the synopsis says, this woman who and I love the introduction, like the setup of all of this, because it's like this is the kind of mundane bullshit that we all deal with all the time, and it just shows her going through her life and just these little things like people cutting in front of her in line and her trying to walk through the parking lot where she goes and then the car backs out. So she stops and then the car stops and just, it's these little annoyances that we all have to live with every day. And these things are just piling up and up and up and she's just getting so sick of it. And then her house gets burglarized and they steal her computer and her grandma's silver and her antidepressants, and she's out kind of, the police aren't helping, so she's out in her neighborhood asking her neighbors if they saw anything, and that's how she ends up meeting Elijah Wood's character. And through a series of events, she has the like tracker on her computer and it pings, so she knows where her computer is. The police aren't any help, so she goes back over to Elijah Wood's house to see if he'll help. And I love that scene when she knocks on his door and he's just immediately on board with it, mm-hmm. to go on this like possibly dangerous mission.
But he gets to use those. He gets to use all of his
He
tools,
took a. I love
all of
how
his
I
weapons.
think it was a morning
Yeah.
star that he took with him the first time. It was like, one of those. It was like the stick with the chain and the spiked ball at the end. I think that's called a morning star. I love how that's the weapon he
Yeah.
took with him.
Uh, he's ready to go.
But I also like
He's
that
just ready. He's down for anything.
because I was expecting him to be kind of a buffoon in the way that he was like all talk and stuff, but he took action. I mean, he kicked some ass in this movie, and I appreciated that.
He's an odd character
And I just,
because he's also a very religious man.
yeah, that was interesting. An interesting little
It
twist, little
was,
twisty.
yeah.
And he has a dog that follows him around everywhere. His name's Kevin. And I definitely appreciated the fact that his dog's name is Kevin. And actually, one of my close friends has a dog named Kevin. Also,
It's a very popular dog name.
it's a good dog
Makes
name.
sense. It's a good dog name.
It is.
It's a dignified name for a dog.
That was a good dog.
Human.
I wanted more Kevin in this movie too.
Yeah, you could have used some more Kevin. Could have.
Definitely a good dog. So
It just reminded me when he was talking about where he worked at Borders.
oh yeah,
And he got really good at doing the phone.
yeah, a coffee shop.
He's just naming what he could do, and they just got more and more intricate. And then one of them was just Kevin.
Yeah, really funny, surprisingly violent. What did you think of that? How the violence kind of ratcheted.
I had a feeling. I knew it was coming.
I had a feeling it was coming too.
Because up until that point, I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, this feels a lot like Blue Ruin. It feels a lot like it. It's a little bit lighter affair, but I have a feeling that because then Longstreet shows up, and you can tell that with his bodyguard and stuff, and the degenerates, and when it comes together, you're like, oh, this is about to get really violent.
Well, also before that, there's this scene involving the old man at the swap meet or that consignment shop, and
Yeah.
what he does, just that little scene, you're just like, okay, this is gonna get pretty serious, like, because that isn't something you typically see in just like screwball comedy.
Yeah, that's a really bizarre thing to do to someone.
I know, right? that scene definitely took me by surprise. But yeah, you were saying about the degenerates and Longstreet and
Yeah, I could
impending
just
violence.
I just knew, there's and essentially what happens to Jane Levy's character because she has that old antique shotgun. I was like, I have a feeling I know.
Oh
what's
yeah,
gonna happen with that
they
shotgun.
set that up. They definitely set that up.
It's just, I did enjoy the fact that when it first kicked off, she just vomits constantly.
Yeah, just nonstop vomiting.
Oh god,
That's probably what I would do in that situation.
I think a lot of people would do that in that situation. Just I would be concerned
uncontrollable vomiting.
Yeah, I'd be really concerned if you didn't. To be honest.
I appreciated the cameo with Macon Blair because at first you think that because she's going through this like just complete shit show of a life, and then she has this one brief moment with this guy at a bar because they're reading the same book, and then what he does just ruins everything, and you're just like, okay, well, guess that wasn't a bright spot in her life.
The only thing that didn't really work for me was the ending. Everything at the end, I was just on, especially with the snake.
Yeah, it was fine.
The ghost showing up and all that nonsense.
Yeah, it felt a little, I don't know, uninspired, I guess.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it so much. Everything up until that point felt very unconventional to me, and everything during that point like felt pretty conventional. But I still enjoyed myself with it quite easily. Very as far as debuts go, solid debut.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid one. Not bad. I thought it was, it was a fun little flick, fun little movie.
Yeah, it made me chuckle.
I enjoyed myself.
Definitely want more Tony in my life.
Yeah, I could definitely use more Tony. Also, Sleazeball Longstreet. I like when Longstreet does
Yeah, he does
sleazeball.
a really good job at being a sleaze. Like that's definitely within his wheelhouse for sure.
It is.
Plays a good sleaze.
There is some funny stuff in there.
Definitely.
Good chuckles and whatnot.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend checking it out. That's on Netflix right now, so you can see it there. I don't feel at home in this world anymore. I'm gonna give this one a. I'll throw out a 7 on this one too.
I'm gonna give it like a 6.5.
All right, there you have it. Good debut for Macon Blair. Let's talk about another directorial debut. This is from Jordan Peele, who also wrote this film. It's Get Out. This is playing in theaters right now. No doubt you have heard of this one. I have a synopsis. A young African American man visits his Caucasian girlfriend's mysterious family estate. Kevin, what did you think of Get Out?
Oh man, did I like this one?
I would say I would say it was beyond like. I would say that I loved this movie.
Yeah,
I think this movie was phenomenal. I was just so invested, 100% the whole time. I thought that it was a perfect blend of comedy and horror because normally I think it aired more on the comedy side of things because I didn't find a lot of it to be actually horrifying, like actually scary,
yeah.
but there was enough in there that in fact one of the I don't even know if this is if you feel this way, but one of the scariest moments for me is a scene where the main character he's outside having a smoke and
And the guy
the guy
running
yeah
out.
yeah
Yeah,
like I found that to be one of the scariest scenes in the movie for some reason.
I'm right there with you.
The
That scene freaked me out.
it was the look on his face, the way he was running, and just
The
how
way
he
they
was
cut it.
charging.
Yeah, they cut it back and forth like that. It was just that was creepy.
Yeah,
I found a lot of this stuff to just be more
like
creepy.
unsettling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean there's a definitely a number of like loud noises, shit, jump scares that I see, and I don't know if they were intended to be jump scares or it's just because I'm so sensitive to loud noises that I was like,
the
holy shit.
No, there was definitely one at the beginning. I can't remember what scene specifically, but it was after he got to the house, but it was like early on, and it was just like I don't even know. It was like a loud violin type like
Yeah, there was
screech.
that. There was when they hit the deer that scared the shit out
Oh
of me.
yeah, that scared me too.
There was Stanfield at the beginning that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
It's just a lot of loud noises scare the shit out of me. Okay, just any loud noise.
that one
See,
the violin screech towards the beginning though. I didn't feel like that wasn't quite earned, but that's
it's
okay.
a bit much.
So this one, like I said, I think that it does craft a really great balance between comedy and horror. Normally, with horror comedies, you lean one way or the other, and it's difficult to get that balance. But the comedy in this was not. It wasn't so overt. It was really kind of. It was all like dialogue based, and I mean a lot of it came from.
Well, the guy played Rod.
Yeah, Lil Ray Howery.
Yeah, God, he was funny.
He brought a lot of the levity of the film. He was hilarious. Like almost everything he said was absolutely hilarious. And again, this is a movie where he was the comic relief, but he wasn't a buffoon. Like he actually
Well,
he
he knew
put,
something was up right off the
yeah, like
bat.
he put the pieces together very quickly as that there's something not right here.
I love my favorite part of this whole movie is when he has his notebook and he has like his conspiracy
Oh
mapped
yeah.
out with the Armitage name and everything, and he just goes, "Magic's
And he
not real."
crossed out magic. Yeah.
Oh God, because there's a certain set of time where that was in play.
Yeah.
Magic was in play for him, and then he came to his senses and was like, "Magic's not real." But I like that he kept that in play for a while.
I will say that the film goes to a lot of interesting places. There were some twists in there that I didn't see. I didn't entirely see them coming.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't, especially the big one when you
yeah,
find out like what is actually happening. I
right.
was like, oh shit! Like we took it into like a really weird space.
Yeah,
I was not expecting that.
exactly. From the trailer, it essentially gives away that there is hypnotism involved. Like they say that straight up in the trailer that Catherine Keener, who plays the matriarch of this family, she's a psychiatrist, right? And
Yeah.
she knows hypnotism and she helps her clients through hypnotism. So we know that from the trailer. So I knew that that was going to play some kind of role in it because they even show in the trailer him getting hypnotized by her. Now the context
Mm.
of that you don't know what that's all about, and where that leads is what's really interesting about this. Because I totally didn't see it coming, and I thought that just I mean it was just so poignant how it all happens. Like of course this is what is going on, you know. But it was interesting that we picked the People Under the Stairs for Ryan to watch last week, and the themes of that are a lot more similar to this than I expected going into it, because both of them deal with creepy white families that are trying to do something very nefarious to people.
Yeah, but this is kind of like, I don't want to get too much away though, because it's kind of like the opposite. Like their intent is like, people under the stairs is trying to kick people out and
Right, but
take over the neighborhood and stuff. But this is more of,
right, but in Under the Stairs, they're also trying to create the perfect child, and that to me, I was like, okay, so there's definitely some similarities there.
I know this is a tough one to like, because I don't want to give away, because we already did that with the girl with all the gifts.
That was one
So we
little
don't-
stupid thing with that doesn't give anything away in that movie.
So I don't, we don't.
This
We
one's very
don't.
important to go in as cold as possible, though. So I would.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I wanted, because I didn't see any of the trailers or
Oh,
anything.
okay.
I was excited, and then I heard, everyone was just raving about it, and I was like, man, I gotta check this one out. And then I saw something, I forget who wrote it, but I guess like some people are starting to complain that it's anti-white and stuff. And I was like, well, I gotta see it now.
That's such bullshit that it's anti-white. It's a horror movie. Come on. I didn't once get the feeling that this is an anti-white film. Like not
No,
not a
it's just
single time.
it just handles those that like really really small scale racism stuff really really well, where
Right.
just people try too hard, like they go the other way with it,
Exactly. That's what I
which I
loved about it.
which I did find interesting when they were trying, like he's trying to figure out why they're doing this, and they're like, oh, we're not really sure. It's like I like that that's where they went with it, because like the full blown racism stuff, that makes sense. That's easy. They hate black people. There's not a complexity to it at all. They just hate black people. But the small scale stuff is just like, you're trying. Everyone has their reasons too. Like they kind of point out throughout the movie.
Right, and I think a lot of people try to overcompensate for that too,
Mhm.
where they're trying so hard not to be racist that they end up being racist. Like the whole, I would vote for Obama a third time if I could, and just like all of the other, at the party, all the little comments that he heard that were just like, why are you saying why are you bringing that up now? Like what's
It's such an odd thing to say. But like you said, I would just kind of go in without knowing as much as possible, and just, man, is it interesting?
yeah.
Just where it ends up, it's just it gets so weird. I wasn't expecting it to get that weird.
It does get weird, and I was thankful that it got weird.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. I appreciated that.
I wanted more Keith Stanfield because he not only was he funny, but he was like immensely creepy later on in the
Yes.
movie too. But at the beginning, I mean, the fact that they decided to open the movie with him, I thought was
yeah, and just like his running dialogue
Yeah.
of what's happening.
was really good and a really really good way to start the film off.
Yes, and then they definitely show him later, where he's just acting so bizarre.
He reminded me of the when Dave Chappelle does his white man character. That's what it reminded me of. Performances pretty great across the board. Highlights, I would say that Betty Gabriel, who plays Georgina, there's a scene where the main character Daniel Kaluuya
Oh
he
yeah,
kind of confronts her, and the
that was something
that
else.
scene when he confronts her and they fix the camera just on her face, the range of emotion that she goes through in that one scene is pretty incredible. Like I
Yeah,
was pretty blown away by that one scene. Like that.
and then she kind of mixes them together too.
Yeah, I mean that was like, I would say almost award worthy. I'd say it is award worthy, that performance. So shout out to Betty Gabriel for that. Holy crap, really really great. Everybody else across the board was solid too. I mean, Catherine Keener and Bradley Whitford were great. They played really good kind of creepy parents, and I appreciated that. And of course, Caleb Landry Jones doing his. I mean, that dude like plays like Longstreet. He just plays a scuzzy dude really
Yeah,
really well.
he does it very, very
Every
well.
every role that Caleb Landry Jones is in, it seems like he came to the set completely wasted out of his mind and was just like, "Let's do this," because he always seems fucked up to me.
Maybe he is. Who knows? You never
Well,
know.
in most of those scenes that he was in the movie, he was drunk. That like they commented on him drinking too much or whatever. But at any rate, he did a good job too, and Allison Williams did a pretty solid job as well. I don't particularly like her in other things I've seen her in, but I thought she did a pretty good job in this.
And definitely Lil Rel Howery.
Yeah, he was fantastic. TSA.
Oh, he was so funny. That Jeffrey Dahmer shit.
Oh my god. Yeah.
The fuck? That was ridiculous.
Yep.
When he's on the phone, uh, when he was on the phone with it almost came out, but that would ruin it. But just the way that he reacted to that,
Yeah, it was hilarious.
oh, he's so
But
great.
he was so smart too, because he was like, "I'm gonna record this." Like he knew
Hmm.
what was going on, but then of course it didn't work out for him. But yeah,
No, it backfired. Just him reacting to everything was great.
yeah. At any rate, Get Out. I would highly recommend seeing this in the theater. So definitely go check it out. It's doing very well. I mean, it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm sure once the box office numbers come out for this weekend, I'm sure that it's done pretty good. I would hope. From what I
I
read,
would think so.
it's I just read like the early numbers, and it's pretty much killed it. It's like a $4 million movie too, or something. So this is like a pretty low budget film, and it's pretty much going to kill it. So as far as scores go, I think I'm going to throw out an 8 on this one.
Oh man, I didn't even think about a score yet.
I might even I'll have to see how the rest of the year goes, but I might have to like bump this one at some point, because I'll say like
Yeah,
eight,
because
eight
there
and
was
a half. I mean, because there's very little,
yeah,
there's like very little as far as criticisms I have with it, honestly.
yeah. I mean, the main thing that I have is when he's kind of like piecing it together, and they kind of do that like walkthrough of like showing scenes from earlier.
Yeah, could have done
You know
without
what I mean?
that.
Like,
That was
yeah,
more for
it's
the
just like
audience, I guess. But
yeah, it just that always bums me out. I think I'm gonna go with you too. I'm gonna go 8.5.
strong visuals too, stronger than I anticipated, especially the kind of hypnosis sequences when he goes into, what you call it, the
The sunken place.
yeah, yeah, like that first scene when she instructs him to sink into the floor, and how they just show that, and then him kind of floating in that like void. I thought that was really a cool visual. So at any rate, check out Get Out. It's pretty incredible. So
Yeah,
definitely do it.
definitely.
And it doesn't, anybody that says that it's against white people, just fucking grow up and just go watch it. Like, quit being such a baby.
Uh, I think it also said something about you if you think it's anti-white.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, lighten up. White people are weird.
I would
Come
say
on.
that 95% of the audience I saw this with in the theater were black, and it I had such a great
Yeah.
time. I had such a great time in
You-
that audience, especially
my
towards the
audience,
end.
my audience was a bit different.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
This is a bit different. It was a quiet showing.
Mine
Very
definitely was
quiet.
not, but not in a bad way. It was in a good way. All right, let's move
Uh,
on to someone watching on the watch list. I only have a couple things.
I'm gonna keep it short too, since we did a three banger, as they say in the business.
All right, well, what do you got?
Oh, I'm starting. Okay, I
Sure.
wasn't ready for that. Oh
Well,
shit.
if you're not ready, I can start.
No, God, jump
All
in.
right,
I
do
actually
it.
have notes. I'm just online.
Quit pussyfooting
Uh,
around.
good, good point. Good point. I saw Werewolf. This is a directorial debut from Ashley McKenzie. This is it's a Canadian film. Played the film festival circuit there. Heard some good things. Got to say, it's a strong debut. It's a little bit of a kind of a familiar narrative, if you will. It's about two recovering heroin addicts. They're kind of on this methadone program. So it's kind of like that narrative's kind of built in, right? You kind of know where it's going to go, what it's going to do,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't stray too far from that. But you got to hand it to her. The stuff that she was able to do, she makes a lot of great framing choices. There's one in particular where they're trying to like get their methadone dosage because they always have such trouble getting their methadone dosages, and the camera fixates on them holding hands while they're interacting with the pharmacist and everything. How they make their money is they go around with this beat up piece of shit lawnmower and try to mow people's lawns for money, for just tiny bits of money. And right off the bat, starts off with the tragedy, so you know it's not going to end well. And but it kind of subverts that because it actually does kind of end on an upbeat tone, even though that you know it's going to lead into that tragedy that's at the beginning. At the same time, it's uplifting, and it's one of those films that I actually wish extended past its runtime. This is only like 78 minutes long, but the way in which it ends, I was like, I kind of wanted it to go further because I thought that it just started getting going.
Hmm.
So it's definitely one to watch.
All right. Now, what was the name of that again?
Werewolf.
Werewolf. I honestly I didn't see much, really anything noteworthy this week. I saw a movie called Drifter, which came out on VOD. No, I'm sorry. It came out in limited release this weekend. It's going to be out on VOD, I believe, next weekend. It's directed by Chris von Hoffman. I believe this is his directorial debut. This is one of these kind of 80s throwback homage Mad Max horror movies. Didn't really work for me. There were a couple interesting bits of visual flair in there, but overall, I found the plot to be pretty banal. Like it was just fairly boring.
Mm.
Basically, it's about these two brothers that one of them gets injured while they're out and about trying to scavenge for food and whatnot. And the whole thing is that these two guys have a working car. Because of that, it makes them targets. So the brother gets he ends up getting injured pretty badly, so they're out looking for a hospital, and they stumble upon this town, which is basically like a rundown abandoned trailer park. And probably one of the strongest things about the movie is I don't know where they shot this, but it looked like it really was an abandoned trailer park somewhere out in the desert, and
Mm.
it looked awesome. But that was probably the strongest aspect of it, just the location that they shot this thing in. And it turns out that there's this like crazy family of like meth heads, I guess you could call them, and they attack them and hold them captive, and it's just meh, not into it at all. The sound design is like way overproduced, so there's sound effects on everything, like literally everything. There's a scene where a girl opens up an umbrella, and it's like whoosh, and it's just like, what is going on here? Like everything is so over stylized, and they just randomly use like split screen and these like crash zooms and all these like crazy effects and stuff to make it more stylish, but it just does not work in most aspects.
Yeah, it sounds like that would be kind of overbearing after a while.
Yeah, I mean, especially
Like,
the
do
sound
you
design.
really
Like
need to
the sound design drove me crazy in
emphasize
this. It was just
emphasize umbrellas?
yeah.
There's no need to emphasize on umbrellas.
Also, the acting was completely piss poor in every regard, and the effects were decent, but the characters were nothing. Like they were nothing. Nothing memorable about them at all. Nothing likable. They were just blank slates. So, Drifter, when that comes out next week, I would probably skip that one.
Okay. I saw that Weiner documentary.
Oh yeah, check that out. I don't think I talked
That
about
was,
it on the show, but
I mean, that was kind of fun.
it was
I
interesting.
think they had decent energy. I didn't really know but I didn't know that it was following him during his mayoral
Yeah,
run.
yeah,
I thought it was just like going over the history of everything. I didn't know they were in the moment when the other stuff was coming out. So that was kind of interesting to see. I found it to be a slightly difficult thing to watch because there's that personal side of it with him and his wife Huma, where I'm just like, I don't want to watch this. Like your marriage is completely falling apart. Like I don't need to see this.
yeah. And there were several moments too where you just
You could just
you
the look on her face,
yeah,
man.
you could cut the tension in the room with a knife. I mean, it was like holy crap.
Yeah, and he just kept fucking up. How he even points out at the end where he's like, "I just seem to fuck up every day." It's like
Yeah,
you do, dude. Like, it's just like the public life is not for you.
yeah.
Like, I like your energy and fighting. Like, it seems like he's an all right
Well,
guy.
that's the thing. Like his
It's
policies are
just
good,
he
but
just has he has I think it seems like it's this like attention thing, which of course the media were fully capable in delivering to him, and they just kind of fed off of each other with that's all they talked about. And it was interesting because you could see how they kept showing like some of the voters and stuff where they're like, shut up, we don't want to hear about his personal baggage, ask him questions about his policy, that's what we care about,
yeah,
da, 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 da. And now to see like what happened recently with all the baggage, media's just throwing this scandal, this scandal, this scandal with Trump, and all the Trump voters are just like, we don't care about any of that. And it's like, yeah, you guys kind of built that up over the last couple of years where people just don't give a shit anymore.
well, and that's what a lot of people are saying, including myself, that you have these things like the Russia thing and all of these other ridiculous, the Nordstrom's thing, all of these ridiculous things that Trump is doing that's getting tons and tons of coverage, whereas the actual policies and executive orders that he's pushing through that are much worse for the country than some of these dumb things that he says, a lot those things are not getting as nearly as much coverage, and that's the stuff that we should be looking at and should be really outraged about.
Yeah, but it's just because in the past they beat these scandals, they beat them to fucking death, and it's just like because there's a part of me where I'm like this is my feeling on these types of things where I'm like, you know what, that's your personal life. I don't really give a shit. It was between two consenting adults. You didn't do any like illegal shit. I don't care. Like if you can still do your job and do that other stuff, that's fine. Like him and his wife need to figure that stuff out. But the public, we shouldn't care because you don't lose your job for any other things. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
It's not like CEOs lose businesses because they
Well,
had affairs and
I
shit.
think one of the things that gets people about that is the lying,
I
the
know,
straight
which
up
is so
lying.
bizarre. They're politicians, man. Like, stop being so
Yeah,
fucking naive.
of
They've
course
all
they're
lied.
going to do whatever
All
they
the,
can to cover their asses, you know.
all the time they lie. They lie constantly. Always have.
Yeah, I completely agree. Although with the Wiener thing, it's like, man, I don't know. That one's a harder pill to swallow. And same with the Trump thing. You know, like when the whole like pussy grabbing thing came
Well,
out
that's because that's sexual assault.
yeah.
Like what Weiner did is he didn't. I mean, I don't know what like the exact specifics of everything,
I think a lot
but
of
it seemed like
people got bothered by
there.
the one picture that he took where his baby was next to him. He's like naked laying in the bed with his baby next to him.
Yeah,
And that was like, all right. That might be a little too much now.
yeah. He seems to get caught up in the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's a creeper, but that doesn't mean that he would be a bad, mayor. Uh, at any rate, it's a good documentary. It's one of these kind of time capsule documentaries that I think they just got so lucky in when they
Yeah,
decided to choose to film him.
Yeah.
because
Yep.
they were shooting it during this whole all this scandal and stuff, and it just worked out perfectly in their favor. Not so good for Mr. Weiner, but
No, not at all.
I saw a documentary called Magicians: Life in the Impossible. This is a documentary about magicians,
Ooh.
and it kind of just follows the lives of three magicians that are just trying to make it in magic, and the hardships that that job results in. And I didn't feel bad for these guys, unfortunately, because it's like that's your chosen profession. You decided to be a magician, and like the one guy, he was really big. He had this really big career. He was on the Tonight Show more than like any other performer or something. He was on like 11 times or something like that. So he had all this money and he bought a castle. Like he bought a castle.
hmm That's now I can tell you, and I don't know a lot. I'm not an expert or anything, but that seems like a really stupid financial thing to
Yeah,
do.
so he buys a castle, and it's this, it's the kind of place that you would expect a magician to have. Like
Such a magician
there were like
castle.
things that would pop up and like hidden rooms.
So
Not
it's not your like normal working class
You're
castle.
right.
It's more
It
like
was
over the
it
top.
was like there were like cauldrons and shit. There were
Oh,
sconces
jeez.
everywhere.
Tacky, tacky.
Well, yeah, I mean everything the magicians like. This movie made me think about it. Like, why are magicians so lame? Like, why do they all wear like the affliction T-shirts and have the worst haircuts and wear the worst clothes? They're just
Because
so lame.
I think it takes a certain person to get into magic to
And there are,
begin
of
with.
course, there's exceptions. Like I think David Blaine is probably an exception. Like he in and of himself, one could argue that he's lame, but he at least wears normal clothing. But yeah. So I didn't really feel bad for this. Like the guy that had the castle ended up he had to sell it.
You just the guy that has a castle.
He had to sell it, and he ends up getting this like
Really?
300.
The-
He had to get this like 300 square foot studio apartment.
yeah, well, oh my God, everything you just said is wonderful.
And
He had to sell the castle, which, come on, we knew that you were going to say that at some point. He's a magician. That's not something that, like, endures the test of time where you have, like, a super long career
right.
making shit tons of
So
money.
so this guy, he's on the tail end of his career. Like he's getting up there in age. I don't know how old he was. Probably in his 60s, maybe early 60s. And then you have this other guy that they follow. Is this German guy who he was huge in Germany, like one of the biggest magicians in Germany. And he decides to come to the States. So he comes to the States, moves to Las Vegas, and then tries to make it in Las Vegas, and he does. Like he becomes really really big. Chris Angel actually steals one of his tricks, and they end up. I don't know if they actually did sue him, but they were talking to a lawyer about suing him for stealing one of his tricks. And then what does he do? He buys a castle. Like the dude also
Wait,
buys.
what is with magic? Now, see, this is the type of thing where if you're a documentary filmmaker, you got to realize that the story here is magicians and
Yeah.
castles.
I mean, I guess with his, you would probably more call it a mansion, but I'm calling it a castle. And it's like
Damn.
he gets a little bit of success, and he buys a. And they were showing them around because at the beginning of the film he was just living in a normal apartment, and then once he got big, when they were still filming, he got the giant mansion castle, and it had like 12 bathrooms in it, and it's like it's you living there with your manager. It's two of you living there. Why would you do something like that? I mean, it's so dumb. You can buy a nice house that's reasonable in size. And I mean, you have to realize that as a magician, there's only a few of them that can make a long-lasting career out of it. So I didn't like feel any kind of empathy for these people at all. I wasn't rooting for them in any way. There was one guy that they followed a little bit, and he was this guy. He was a close-up magician. He was trying to get a TV show,
Please tell me that he bought a
No, he
castle.
didn't. Because
Damn
he's
it.
still super early in his career, so he didn't have
Do
the
you
money for it.
think
But
do you think that's what he's going for though? Do
I
you think
don't
that
think
that's like
so.
his aspiration?
This guy, I don't get the feeling that he's going to go with the castle. He seems like a more grounded, normal person, and he was the only. There was two other guys. Like there was him who he was trying to get a TV show, and he had like he's living by himself, and he has this dog, and the dog ended up dying right before he shoots a pilot for this TV show for the Travel Channel, and he was so like grief stricken, he like fucked up all of his tricks and stuff while they're shooting this thing, and like I felt really bad for that guy because he was really nice
Hmm.
too. And then the other guy was this guy he was like a card magician, and he like he tours the country doing lectures, and he has a comic book called Smoke and Mirrors. It's a pretty popular comic book, and he at the beginning of the movie he gets married or he's engaged, and then they get married, and then by the end of the movie he's already divorced.
Damn.
Yeah, because he is on the road for like 10 months out of the year, so it caused this huge rift in his relationship. So
Yeah, right.
basically the moral of the story is don't ever try to be a magician because it sucks.
Unless you really want a castle, because it seems like that's the direct
Yeah,
path to castle ownership.
you'll get a castle, it'll eventually get taken away from you, but
Well,
you get a
yeah, I
castle
mean,
at least temporarily.
which I mean, that sounds pretty awesome.
At any rate, Magician's Life in the Impossible is on Netflix Instant. I would say it's probably not really worth a look. I mean, even if you're
No,
really
so
into magic, it's kind of just depressing.
maybe it's good for people that are considering
Right. Because, I
going
mean,
into
it
the.
definitely shines a light on just how much work and dedication and how difficult it is. Just the amount of work that's involved in making that your living.
Yeah. I just remembered him crossing it out. Magic's not real. Oh God, that might be my favorite thing from this year. I think that's gonna make it the whole way to the end of the year. It's my favorite line.
Yeah.
Um, I watched a Larry Cohen movie from 1972 called Bone, and Larry Cohen, man,
I love Larry Cohen.
he's such a deranged filmmaker. Like, his movies are just they're a fucking mess. They're always a goddamn mess. This is his debut, right? So it's all over the place. Like, the audio rarely ever syncs up. Like, it is just an absolute mess. But that's what makes it so fantastic.
Yeah, that's just like Q. You know,
Yeah,
that movie's a complete mess, but there's just something about it that just makes it so endearing.
which is this is another thing about him is his movies are so bad shit, and they're dealing with just really bizarre things, and just what he like kind of puts together these puzzle pieces that do not fit. He's forcing he's forcing circles into square holes, and it's not, they shouldn't go together. But the bizarre thing is that he gets these unbelievable performances in these just batshit productions, and that's how Bone is too. You have Yaphet Kotto is fantastic, Andrew Duggan's great, Joyce Van Patten's great, and it's this great film where Yaphet Kotto shows up, helps out this super rich couple. They live in the biggest house in this neighborhood in Beverly Hills, and he targets them, and he's coming to get some money. So he forces them into the house. Turns out they're not as wealthy as he thought they were, and they are not a happily married couple. And he ends up, like, through digging through like all their bills and stuff, kind of finds out all this information that the wife doesn't know about. So he ends up pitting those two against each other, and then kind of forces them, and ends up playing. It almost turns into this like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf type deal, where he's just kind of sitting back and watching everything unravel. And it's man, some of the stuff that he forces the husband, because he finds out about this like hidden bank account that the wife doesn't even know about, right? So he's like, I'm going to use this against you. I need you to go to the bank. You're going to get all this money out, and you're going to give it to me. And if you're not back by a certain amount of time, I'm going to rape your wife and slit her throat. So he gives him like a deadline, and then he leaves. The guy ends up saying like, I don't really fucking care, and just goes off and does his own thing. He ends up running into this woman in a bar, okay? That just goes into this like conspiracy of dentists where she's talking about her husband spent like every day he would just go to every single dentist in Beverly Hills and get full mouth x-rays until he died. Like that's the way he killed himself. And she has the x-rays and she's like showing him the x-rays of her teeth and everything. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? A conspiracy of dentists. And she just keeps shouting like full mouth x-rays, full mouth x-rays. And it's just the places that it goes. It's just all over the place. It's all over the place. But it's Larry Cohen. It's just there's something about him. Plus, it's got Yaphet Kotto, which I forgot about how much I love him.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, he's fantastic in this.
Alien? Fuck yeah.
I mean, you gotta watch Bone. You gotta watch it.
I will definitely watch
It's on. I watched this on Amazon Prime. It's free if you have Amazon Prime.
Okay, cool. I do, so I'll definitely be checking out Bone.
Yeah, you gotta watch some Bone.
The only other one I saw was a movie that's not out yet. It's called Bokeh. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Bokeh. It's the term that refers to the unfocused light that's on the edges of photos.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked it up because I never heard of that term before, but not a photographer. So basically, this is about a couple who are vacationing in Iceland when, like, the second day that they're there, they wake up and everybody's gone. There's nobody. Like, everyone on the planet has seemingly disappeared. And it's just about them wandering around, trying to figure out what happened and living their lives and trying to cope with the fact that they appear to be the only two people left on the planet. Not an entirely new concept, but I'll say this, there's no like aliens or zombies or anything like that. It's not a horror movie at all. It's just pretty much just a straight drama. Because it really puts a strain on their relationship. Like the guy played by Matt O'Leary, he's just trying to acclimate to their new living situation and do things like prepare for when the power goes out and when the water goes out. So he's trying to, like, build things that collect rainwater and stuff like that, and just collect groceries and things, and just basically set up a new life for them. But the girl played by Micah Monroe, she's just not having it. I mean, as soon as it happens, she just falls into a super deep depression and just is questioning everything. Like, she's just questioning existence. She's looking at God and trying to figure out if God did this and why she was left, and she just cannot process this. And so basically he's just desperately trying to get her to accept the reality, and she's having a really difficult time doing that.
Okay.
It's the whole thing takes place in Iceland. Probably the first 20 minutes is basically just a travel log, just an Iceland travel log, which
Makes sense.
I mean, yeah, it's funny. I've been to like almost every place that they show in this movie. In fact, the place that I actually got married is in this movie, and it's beautiful landscapes. It's pretty well shot, surprisingly. I mean, we've talked about this before. It's hard to.
I was just gonna say, is it more so just because it's the Icelandic?
Yeah,
landscape.
I mean,
you can't really fuck that up,
right? But it still looks good. I mean, what they choose to shoot and how they shoot it is good. It's good. So there's some pretty interesting things that happen in it. It kind of wears out its welcome. I'll have a full review for this up. I don't even know when this comes out. It comes out in a couple weeks, so I'll have a full review up closer to that time. But it does wear out its welcome a little bit. It gets a little tedious as it goes on, because it's basically like them having an argument, and then them like collecting supplies, and then them seeing, like, traveling across the country, seeing the beautiful lush landscapes, and it just basically repeats that cycle throughout, which I didn't entirely have a problem with, because Iceland is it's one of my favorite countries, and I love seeing it any chance I get. But yeah, it's okay, I guess. I'm
Yeah.
sitting in somewhere in the middle right now with like a 5 or something out of 10. But again, it's called
Yes.
Bokeh, and it's gonna be out in a couple weeks. Maybe it's probably a light recommend. It's worth it just to see, how beautiful Iceland
Well,
is.
what would you suggest more? Should I invest? How long is the movie? Like an hour and a half, probably.
Yeah, it's according to Letterbox, it's 104 minutes. So,
Okay. So do I invest 104 minutes watching this, or do I invest 15 minutes of just Google searching images of Iceland?
well,
Which one can I do?
this gives you the video though too,
Okay.
and it's funny because I mean, when I say it's a travelogue, like it hits like every note. Like I mean, they do everything like the glaciers, the geysers, the rolling hills, the
Geysers.
caves. Uh, a lot of it takes place in Reykjavik. So I mean, they
Oh
hit
god.
like every beat.
The goddamn
They
geysers.
don't go to the volcanoes, and that's one area that's probably the only area that they didn't explore in this movie.
Okay.
The geysers are
Yeah.
great. The thing about geysers, when we were there and we were deciding, where we wanted to drive and the different places we wanted to check out, it was the question was proposed to me: do you want to check out the geysers? And I was like, I don't really care. Like, oh well, big fucking deal. Water shoots out of the ground. Not impressed,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, why not? We were close by, and that's where the name comes from. It's actually the place is called Geyser. So we went there, and it's incredible. Like when you actually go and see it, you're just like, holy shit, this is awesome. So yeah, if you end up going there, I would recommend checking it out.
Yeah. I feel like you have to see the geysers.
Yeah. That's all I got. Do you have anything else?
No, that's all I got too.
All right. Let's move on and talk about some predictions. Last week, Get Out. I said 86, you said 88, actual 100%. I love it when movies get 100. I love it when they get 100, and I love it when they get like 3.
And this also got 100 with a shit ton of reviews. Like this isn't like early where there's like
Right.
30
Yeah.
reviews in. This is like 100 after like 140 reviews.
Yeah. This one is definitely getting some universal acclaim. And you know how many Oscars this is going to get nominated for?
0.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. What else do we got? Collide. I said 32. You said 34. Actual 19.
Oh, Collide.
Yeah.
Damn. Rough weekend.
Yeah.
Rough weekend for everyone involved with Collide.
Next week we got a big one, Logan. I'm
Oh yeah.
I'm really really excited for Logan.
I might actually be seeing this, just a heads up.
Well,
Who knows? Will it actually happen? We'll see.
I think you absolutely should. This currently has a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's
Yeah.
getting a lot of buzz with this one. So what are you thinking on Logan?
Oh, Logan. I'm actually going because my wife wants to see it.
That's great.
I'm gonna go 80, 87.
That's probably a good pick.
You're damn right. It's a good pick.
I'll say 86 on that.
You should have just passed. You're not gonna beat 87.
Probably not. I think that's really the big. I think that's the. I don't know if there's any other wide releases coming out. I think everyone's pretty much staying away from Logan.
Nobody wants to fuck with Logan.
Yeah.
No one wants to end up being Collide.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Go the Collide route.
In limited release next week, we have The Shack. I actually don't really know anything about that one. Before I Fall. That's the one that's like Groundhog Day, basically. We went to a press screening for that, so that'll be a.
How's that? I'm actually like slightly interested in that.
Um,
Just because it's Rai Russo young.
yeah, mediocre.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That's I didn't go to the press screening. Mary did, but
Okay.
she said it was pretty average. What else do we have here? Table 19, Love Song, The Last Word, Headshot. Now this is one that I'm particularly excited about.
I'm actually pretty stoked for this one too.
This one we should be covering this one next weekend on the show.
Yeah, it looks like we have our 2 picked out right here.
Well, we have another one that's coming up here, Catfight.
Yeah, I think that's going to be our two. Oh yeah, like Logan too. Oh shit, are we going to do a three banger next
I
weekend
hope.
too?
I hope that we can. I hope that we can do a three banger next weekend. This is the new
Shit,
owner, Tuchel, one with Anne
watch out,
Heche and Mich-
Sandra. Oh,
Sandro. For some reason, I wanted to say Michelle. Oh,
mm.
really excited about that one. Looks very quirky, very typical Tuchel.
What it says on that poster, deliciously funny.
Yeah.
I've never understood using deliciously.
No,
I don't understand how that's.
like it doesn't seem like a movie. Like if you said deliciously funny about a quirky comedy about like cake, uh,
Like
cake bakers,
cake,
cake
two
bakers,
feuding cake bakers.
then
Yeah,
maybe I'd say deliciously funny.
yeah. I just don't understand that using deliciously in any other context besides like this food is
Right.
delicious. Like outside of food, I don't. It just doesn't work with anything, does it?
I don't think so. It
No.
seems very out of place. I don't think I'd use that. Lavender, uh, Donald cried.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was surprised that that one's getting a nice marketing push behind it. I thought that that one was just going to be kind of a fly under the radar type of thing, but they got a new trailer out. They got a nice poster. So yeah, go
Yeah,
check
because
that one out.
even when that played the festival, it wasn't. You know.
Yeah, not a lot of people talked about it.
Yeah.
The Last Laugh, which is a documentary about comedy and pushing the boundaries of comedy and whatnot. Wolves,
Mm.
that's the one with Michael Shannon about basketball. It's like a
Oh
basketball
yeah.
drama.
Oh yeah. He's like a coach.
Yeah, yeah. The
It's got. He's been making some bad decisions. It seems like.
yeah, the Institute. I think James Franco's in that.
Well, that tells you everything you need to
Yep.
know.
What else do we got here? Don't Kill It with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh shit! You know they're gonna kill it.
That's the same guy that did Big Ass Spider. So I
Oh,
might give that a look. Just I actually enjoyed Big Ass Spider. It's pretty fun.
wow.
And that's pretty much it.
What's he carrying?
It's like some kind of
It-
crossbow thing.
It's like a gun that doesn't even exist in real
A
life. It looks
blunderbuss?
like
Is it a blunderbuss?
it's something ridiculous, man.
Yeah, I
Just
might give it a look.
whoa! He's an aging demon hunter.
Yeah, I'll probably give that a look.
That's checking all your boxes,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. Checking all the boxes. I mean, with longer, and you already kind of had me on board, but yeah. And let's see. Next week on Video on Demand, we have Drifter. That's on the 28th. We have Territorial Behavior. That's also on the 28th. And then let's see what we have on the 3rd. We got My Scientology Movie. That's the Louis Theroux one. I've already seen that one. It's decent, but I don't think it quite nails the execution. What he tries to do is basically pull a Joshua Oppenheimer and have former Scientologists recreate some of the various things that they had to do while in Scientology because, you know, obviously you can't film in there and capture it.
Yeah.
Doesn't entirely work, but it's still a fairly interesting documentary, especially if you haven't seen any of the other, you know, various documentaries about Scientology. Let's see. Don't Kill It, Wolves, and Lavender, and then also The Institute. So, you know, solid number of things coming out next week. I think the big three are going to be the ones that we cover: Catfight, Logan, and Headshot. Unfortunately, I don't think any of those are going to be on VOD. Catfight, I feel like that might be on VOD.
I would imagine so.
It's not on our list here because all of the emails that I got regarding it just say theater, so I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
It might be one of these deals that comes out on VOD later because I believe that it's only coming out in New York. So
I was gonna say it's probably in New York only.
yeah. Next week on Blu-ray, this is for Tuesday, February 28th. We have oh my god, just have to scroll through 35 pages of anime. We got Doctor Strange.
All right.
I would recommend that one to you.
Okay.
I think you'll enjoy that one.
One of these days, maybe. I'm not promising anything. Actually, it's not gonna happen. Sorry. I shouldn't lie.
You're never going to see
probably
Doctor
not.
Strange. You never.
I mean, it's so low on the priority list that there's a very good chance that I'm never going to see Doctor
That's
Strange.
unfortunate.
I mean, there's a higher probability that I'll see that. If you say Doctor Strange or La La Land.
I feel bad that you deprive yourself of these pleasures, Kevin.
I mean, I don't know. It's just you prioritize things, and Doctor Strange is just it gets put at the bottom. Sorry.
Well, as long as Logan's on the top, so we can actually review it next week. That's
one that might happen. There's a higher probability with Logan. Just to throw that out there.
We have All We Had. This is the Katie Holmes one. I think that's her directorial debut. We Are the Flesh. Arrow is putting that out on Blu-ray.
Okay.
That's kind of a surprise. Normally Arrow puts out older stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, they're putting that out. It's definitely interesting. What else? We got The Gate from 1987. That's a solid horror movie. Big fan of that one. Recommend that. Moonlight is coming out. The Raid is being put out as a collection, so it has The Raid and The Raid 2. So I'd say if you don't already own those, definitely pick that up.
Oh man.
And Slaughterhouse from 1987 is getting a release. And Dead Time Stories also getting a release from 1986. What do we have on the Criterion front next week?
We have a box set coming out, collector's set. We got Linklater, his Before trilogy, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, Before Midnight.
Very excited for that.
Coming out there. Get that if you're into that thing. I really love the cover to this.
I know. And the individual covers look good too. I don't know if you saw the individual ones.
I'm okay. I like the backdrops. I just wish I didn't have to see Hawk's goatee.
The patchy goatee.
Oh, that goatee, man.
Did you see any of those?
I saw the first one,
Before
Sunrise. I did not like it, and that's kept me from the other two. Now I have a slight interest in seeing the other two.
Well, the newest one that one's interesting because it takes place, so much later.
And I think this is probably something that will kind of propel me to finish that trilogy.
Yeah, definitely. Is that it for Criterions?
That's it.
All right. That'll do it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. If you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber for just $1 a month. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.